Las Vegas, Nevada. International Hotel, August 23, 1974, 10:30 p.m. The spotlight hits Elvis Presley as he walks onto the stage. 2,000 people leap to their feet, screaming, applauding, calling his name. But in the front row, Section A, Seat 12, sits a young woman who can't stand up. Not because she doesn't want to, because she doesn't have the strength. Her name is Linda Morrison, 24 years old, from Phoenix, Arizona. 3 months ago, doctors told her she had terminal leukemia. 6 weeks to live, maybe 8 if she was lucky. Instead of spending her final days in a hospital bed, Linda made one last wish: to see Elvis Presley perform live. Just once. What happened that night became the most emotional moment in Las Vegas entertainment history. And it all started when Elvis looked into the crowd and saw something that stopped him cold. Elvis opens with, "That's all right." The crowd is electric. He moves into "Love Me Tender," and the entire room sways with him. But halfway through the second verse, something catches his eye. A young woman in the front row, pale, thin, wearing a headscarf. She's not screaming like everyone else. She's not reaching toward the stage. She's just sitting there, tears streaming down her face, watching him like he's a miracle. Elvis falters, misses a line. The band keeps playing, but Elvis has stopped singing. He's staring at this woman, and in that moment, something passes between them. Recognition, understanding, pain calling to pain. Elvis stops singing completely. The band continues for a few more bars before realizing something's wrong and trailing off into silence. 2,000 people hold their breath. Elvis walks to the edge of the stage, still looking at Linda Morrison. "Ma'am," Elvis says into the microphone, his voice soft. "Would you mind if I came down there for a moment?" Linda Morrison can barely speak. She nods. The crowd murmurs, confused. This isn't part of the show. This has never happened before. Elvis hands his microphone to a backup singer and steps down from the stage. Security moves to stop him, but he waves them away. Elvis walks directly to Linda Morrison, kneels beside her seat, takes her hand, and in front of 2,000 strangers, he says, "What's your name, honey?" "Linda," she whispers. "Linda Morrison." "Linda, you look like you're hurting. Are you okay?" Linda Morrison breaks down, right there in the International Hotel, in front of Elvis Presley and 2,000 people. She tells him everything. The diagnosis, the prognosis, the decision to spend her final weeks traveling to see him perform. Her voice is barely audible, but Elvis leans in close. Listening, really listening. When she finishes, Elvis doesn't say anything for a long moment. Then he stands up, still holding her hand, and says, "Linda, would you do me the honor of being my special guest for the rest of the show?" Before she can answer, Elvis signals to his security. They bring a comfortable chair onto the stage. Elvis personally helps Linda Morrison from her seat, supports her as she walks, and seats her on the stage beside his microphone stand. The crowd is stunned. Some people are already crying. No one has ever seen anything like this. Elvis returns to his microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet my friend Linda Morrison. She's traveled a long way to be here tonight, and she's taught me something important. Music isn't about the performance. It's about the connection, the love we share with each other. Linda, this next song is for you." Elvis begins "Love Me Tender" again. But this time, he's not singing to the crowd. He's singing directly to Linda Morrison. She's sitting 3 feet away from him, crying openly. And Elvis's voice has never been more gentle, more tender, more full of love. By the end of the song, there isn't a dry eye in the building. 2,000 people are openly weeping, not because of Elvis's voice, though it's beautiful, because of his heart. Because in a world of entertainment and artifice, they've just witnessed something completely real. But Elvis isn't finished. He spends the next hour performing his entire set while Linda Morrison sits beside him on stage. Between songs, he talks to her, makes sure she's comfortable, shares jokes, tells stories, treats her not like a dying fan, but like a dear friend. During Can't Help Falling in Love, Elvis takes Linda's hand and helps her stand. She's weak, swaying, but determined. And together, they sway to the music. The crowd sees this 24-year-old woman, bald from chemotherapy, wearing a simple dress and headscarf, dancing with Elvis Presley. Dancing like she's not dying. Dancing like she has all the time in the world. When the song ends, the standing ovation lasts 7 minutes. 7 minutes of 2,000 people applauding not just Elvis, but Linda Morrison. Applauding her courage, her strength, her refusal to let death steal her joy. After the show, Elvis doesn't leave. He sits with Linda for another 2 hours. They talk about life, about death, about music, about faith. Linda later said it was the most meaningful conversation of her life. Not because she was talking to a famous person, but because she was talking to someone who understood what it meant to carry pain and still find reasons to sing. When Linda finally has to leave, Elvis gives her his personal phone number. "Call me anytime," he says, "day or night. You're not going through this alone anymore." Linda Morrison lived 6 more months. Not 6 weeks like the doctors predicted. 6 months. And she spent those months not in a hospital, but traveling, living, calling Elvis every few weeks just to talk. He always answered, always had time for her. Elvis sent her flowers every week, paid for her treatments, arranged for her to have the best possible care. But more than that, he gave her friendship, real, genuine friendship with someone who saw her as a person, not a diagnosis. When Linda Morrison died in February 1975, Elvis was one of the pallbearers at her funeral. He sang "How Great Thou Art" at her service, and he established a fund in her name to help other terminal patients fulfill their final wishes. The Las Vegas Review-Journal called that August 23rd concert "the night Elvis showed his soul." Other performers started incorporating similar gestures into their shows, but it never felt the same. Because what happened that night wasn't a performance. It was one human being recognizing another's pain and choosing to respond with love. Linda Morrison's family kept every letter Elvis sent her, every photo from that night, every memory of the 6 months when their daughter wasn't defined by her disease, but by her friendship with the most famous man in the world. Years later, Priscilla Presley said that August 23, 1974, was the night she saw Elvis at his best. Not as a performer, she said. As a human being. He had everything: fame, money, adoration. But he gave it all up for 2 hours to sit with a dying girl and make her feel loved. That's who Elvis really was. The footage of that concert still exists. Grainy, black and white, but you can see it all. Elvis stopping mid-song, walking into the crowd, helping Linda onto the stage, the two of them swaying to "Can't Help Falling in Love," the 7-minute standing ovation, the tears on everyone's faces, but the most powerful part isn't caught on camera. It's what happened after. The phone calls, the letters, the friendship. The way Elvis treated Linda Morrison not like a charity case or a publicity opportunity, but like family. That's the Elvis Presley most people never knew. The one who stopped concerts for dying fans, who stayed up late talking to people in pain, who used his platform not just to entertain, but to heal. Linda Morrison got her final wish that night. She saw Elvis Presley perform, but Elvis got something too. He was reminded that behind every face in every crowd is a person with a story, a struggle, a heart that needs love. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop the show and show up for someone who needs you. The music is bigger than any of us. But the stories? The stories are what keep the music alive. Subscribe for more. Hit like if this touched you. And remember, behind every legend is a human who loved, who hurt, who tried. Just like you. Just like me. Thanks for watching.